Hi, Zachy. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
All right, let's go ahead and start with the butterfly. We'll look at things in real speed, and then we'll slow it down if we have to take a finer look at some of the small areas of your strokes. Very good streamline off the wall. All right, you have a very, very good butterfly, and you know that already. You are a junior Olympian. High elbows, you get right over the water there very nicely. We want to try to get the hips up a little higher. They are coming out of the water, but if you can try to get those hips up just a little bit more, you can see they're getting to the surface very, very well. If you can actually get some of your suit to actually come out of the water, even if it's just a few inches, that'll be very helpful. And you can work on that by pushing your hips up using your core, as well as making sure your kick is strong enough to feel those hips come out. Your eyes are down, but sometimes I notice your chin likes to come away from your body. Feel the back of your neck elongated. That means kind of feel the back of your neck long, and then that chin should come in just a little bit, okay? Especially on the downstroke when you're not breathing. And of course, there's one thing that we've seen on other videos that are above the water. Your shoulders rotation is so good that your arms tend to come up really high out of the water. You want to keep your shoulders and your arms wide and low near the surface of the water. But we've seen that in other videos. So that's what you've been working on. I like the way your heels come out of the water on your kick, but your feet don't really, well, they come out a little bit on that one. You want to keep the feet or the toes from really coming out of the water. So they're probably right there at the surface, but you know, when we look at your stroke from above water, if your toes are breaking the surface, we want to keep the toes in, and it's okay for the heels to come out. All in all, Zachy, you have a very good butterfly. As we get into the backstroke, let's go ahead and look at it in real time. No, you didn't do a flip turn there, huh? It's kind of hard to find the walls in the...
Yeah, I didn't know the walls when I swam that.
Okay, as we move on to backstroke, I do like the way you catch, and again, you have high elbows. Looks like your right elbow drops a little bit here. You see how your elbow's kind of out of whack? Whoop, whoop. All right, you see that? And you're not driving your pinky, whereas that left side, you're catching the water with your forearm. Your arm is almost acting like a paddle here. So you've got this little paddle where your hand, wrist, and forearm are all together with a high elbow, and it just grabs a tremendous amount of water. Whereas with this right hand, it looks like the elbow almost is hitting the water first, and there's a little bit of an awkward bend there. So you're leading with the elbow. You do recover nicely from that odd angle, and you do grab some water here. However, this little motion right in here could irritate your right shoulder a little bit. And one way you can correct that is if you can drive your right hip in the water a little earlier. So when you're swimming backstroke, in your mind, feel like your right hip turns quicker. And then just imagine your arm and your elbow and your shoulders along for the ride. And you might be able to drive that right pinky in the water a little better. Okay, does that make sense about turning your hip? So just think right here, turn that hip in, okay? And of course, drive the pinky and keep that elbow turned around in the other direction to keep it high. You have a nice pull though once you get going. We're okay with the kick. I know you went into the wall a little awkward here, that's okay. Again, good streamline. I love the way the air is coming out of your nose in a nice stream. Another thing, which is not as bad as some of your teammates, but we want to make sure that the nose touches the water first or the surface, and you pretty much do that. Just be aware, don't let the forehead creep up and touch the surface. Always make sure the nose is. Let's take a look at your kick here. Pretty decent kick. Your knees bend a little bit, but you are kicking rather steady and continuous. So I'm okay with that right now. All right, let's move into the breaststroke. Good streamline. Fly kick before the pull-out, which is what you prefer. Okay, let's slow this down just a little bit. As you recover on the breast, I love the way you keep your hands really close to your body. See how close your hands are? Also, your elbows are in. You don't ever want your elbows to stick out. If those elbows are sticking out, and they might be, We want to make sure that elbow is right up against your body. Feel like you're doing your pull-out inside of a straw, and you really don't have any room to have your hands and elbows come away from your body because you're in that straw. It's kind of a tight space in there. You do a great job with the hands. We just want to make sure those elbows are in a little bit as well. Eyes are down until your hands pass, and then you can lift your eyes up a little bit, and hopefully your body raises to the surface like a submarine would without an angle like that. And you do, for the most part, have a pretty good way of getting in your first stroke. Now, when you actually start to swim, you see that strike, how it goes down?
Yes.
And we've talked about in practice that your hands are always going to follow what?
Your eyes.
That's right. So when your eyes go down, the hands just go with it. And that's not you, that's not anybody else, that's just human nature. But we want to try to overcompensate for that and not feel like the hands are going to follow the eyes. Let the eyes go down, but take your elbows and your hands and strike that way versus that way, okay? And it's kind of tough, but with some practice, we'll be able to do it. We've got a few drills and a few things that we can emphasize in practice to work on that. But seeing it right now is very, very important for you. And that's going to make your breaststroke much more efficient. I like the position of your body here. Nice horizontal body plane. So yeah, we're going to work on those elbows and the way you strike and recover your arms in breaststroke. Now let's go to the freestyle. Of course, you know what we're looking for here. We're looking for high elbows and a good catch. And I can see right now there's one of your arms that's needing some attention. And also that kick there, we have a little pause. So let's just kind of look at that first. And then let's go right here. All right, so you put your left hand in the water and the elbow's dropping, and it's just kind of a pull. You know, both elbows actually. It's that left one right here when you breathe. You love to breathe to the right. And when you breathe to the right, what happens is your head almost comes out of the water completely, and your ear and your shoulder have a little space in here, okay? And your head's going one way, and your left elbow's going the other way, and there's the drop. See it? There's the dropped elbow, which prevents you from grabbing all of this awesome water right in here when your wrist, hand, and forearm are ready to grab the power part of the pull. You're unable to do so because that elbow's dropped on you. You just don't have any leverage. And this could cause some irritation in your left shoulder as well. Your right side, not as bad. And I can see there's a little catch in here that's forming, and it's grabbing better water. And there's the power phase right there. I like your right side, but your left side I'm a little concerned about. See how far away your head is from your shoulder? So we want to do maybe some number 11 drills, some arm leading drills, just to figure out how to, and you know, some sculling drills, which we've already been doing, just to work on that left side. It's pretty clear though, right? You can see it. And your kick, when you turn your head to breathe, pause, pause, pause. You see that little pause right there? It's like you start out with a pretty good kick coming off that wall, bam, 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 and then you turn your head to breathe, and whoop, there's a pause. See that pause? The legs are just hanging there. So you want to kick through the breath. A lot of coaches will say kick harder during the breath, or feel like you're emphasizing the kick more so during the breath, or kick with more frequency during the breath. Just when you turn your head, add in a little boost with those legs. Now, oftentimes your legs will correct itself. I also want to consider asking you maybe to breathe to both sides on some breathing patterns in freestyle, okay? All right, was this helpful?
Yep.
Great. We'll do this again after a few months.